Hi, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new project for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs triple play frame. Today we're going to do a little bit of masking, plus I'm going to show you how you can create a 2- and 3-step flower with this flower image and some of the smaller pieces for the middle in this set. So the products that you will need for today's card, obviously you're going to need the triple play frame stamp set, a large block for that frame, small blocks for the smaller images. Going to be using some different ink pads. I've got the Gina K dark chocolate for stamping the frame. Then I've got the passionate pink, the turquoise sea, and the sweet mango inks for those 2-step flowers. The cardstock that I'm using, the pure luxury passionate pink, sweet mango, and some of the white. We're also going to be using some scratch paper. Okay, so to begin, you're going to want to make some masks for the set, which you will keep with it. So what you're going to want to do is stamp this frame onto some scratch paper, and then you're going to cut out different versions to mask the different areas of this frame. So your stamped frame is here. You have one that you're going to cut out the large and the small section to the sides of those circles to lay over so that you can stamp patterns and images and sentiments into these sections. You don't need the mask if you're not going to be going over those borders, just for a stamped pattern like this. Then you're also going to want to cut out one for the circles. If you are adding a larger image than the circle to the middle, you would just simply take a 1 1/4 inch punch or a die, and then you would just place it with the opening face up and punch out just that middle. So you can keep one that you can put all 3 of those masks on. And finally, if you want to cut out these center sections, this is a little bit trickier, but it's going to allow you to create a masked area for creating a pattern on the back of this. You would just take probably a hobby blade to get out these small corners with a craft mat underneath. Okay, so let's begin by stamping out this frame. Going to ink it face up. Going to go across the top with the pad horizontal. Get all those edges. Then do the bottom half. And flip it over. Line it up so that it's in the middle of that cardstock. Press all over and pull away. Perfect. This is the size it would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 if you were creating a single layer card with it. But I wanted to do a little bit of layering today. So here's one that I have already just trimmed down with some scissors, or you can use your paper cutter right on that outer border. So I'm going to cover up this left side, the larger section, with the mask, and I'm going to use a small block and the flower, and I'm going to use the orange pad so that I have a tone-on-tone look, but I want it to pop a little bit more than Versamark would. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to stamp it again so that I have a lighter version of it. Stamp it, and then stamp it again. Now I want to go off of the edges here, but I want some of the lighter ones going off the edge as well, so I'm going to stamp it off here and then here. And you want to be careful about that, because if you go off the edge of the paper, you're going to have full strength on one part where you didn't go off the edge, and then one that's on the cardstock, so you're going to see a line from your stamping. So just be careful about that. If you're stamping off and then stamp again, see, like right here, okay? I'll put one right down here, okay? We could put the tiny one in as well. I have them in several different sizes in this set just for more coordination. And where is that smaller flower? Here we go. And this just adds a little bit more interest to your pattern, since you have these coordinating images. And I just love how it kind of looks embossed almost. Okay. All right, so we'll pull that away. So we've got our pattern paper there. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in, I'm going to use the little asterisk in this set to create a pattern border going down the side. Now if you want, you could add this right in, the hearts, and that fits right into that section. But since I already showed that in my other video, I'm just going to use this tiny little asterisk to create another border. So I'm going to start in the middle, and I like starting in the middle because it's easier for me to keep it lined up. If you start at one end and go down, you might find that you're working more towards one side than the other. And so I'm just going to be stamping and then shifting it up and stamping it off, re-inking, stamping off, and stamping off. And then I'll come down here and stamp it off. So full strength, stamped off. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and do our circles for the middle. So I'm going to take this mat and I'm going to put my punches right in the middle. Since this is all going to be covered up anyway by my cardstock, this is a 4" by 5 1/4 mat. I'm not going to see any of this in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just use that cardstock. So we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and that's just going to layer right on here. I forgot to mention that we will need some adhesive for this project. So you can go ahead and add that on your base. And that's all going to get covered up by my orange mat. So I'll go ahead and add that now. I just love how that white really makes both of those colors pop. And then we'll put just a little bit. I'm really running out of adhesive right now, so that's why I'm using this vellum adhesive. Obviously it works for other things as well. I'm having a hard time getting it to come off on my paper though. Okay, so we'll go ahead and you can add these after if you're worried about messing up on your stamping. You can do it later after you've already got them stamped, but I'm just going to go ahead and add them on now. Okay, now let's take that flower again. And to clean it, I'm just going to stamp it several times. Okay, and I want to go ahead and I'm going to do, actually I'll go ahead and do the orange one first since that's the lightest. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it with that point facing up, so you have a 6-petal flower, and then I'm just going to turn it ever so slightly so that the petals are going to nest inside, and you're going to line up that center section where the hole is. So pardon my head for a second, but just stamp it again without re-inking, and now you have that 12-petal flower. Let's go ahead and repeat that in the pink. So stamp, turn, and ink. Clean it off, cover these up, and then finally this blue one, and twist. Oh, press that down again. It got a little hair or something on there. Make sure you have a clean stamp. One of my hairs got across it and it kind of messed that up a little bit. Let's take this out, and I'm going to punch just one more piece of white for that. There's my punch. Okay, let's try that again. So that's a good lesson to you, why you should maybe wait to stamp it. And then twist it and stamp it again. Okay, so I will put that on with some more adhesive. Piece aside, still have a little bit on there. And just place that right on there. Okay, now let's go ahead and add one of these little button accents to the centers. Use the brown. So 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right, and then we can actually, let's go ahead and I'm going to add those again right in between the circles. Okay, and then we'll just do a quick little greeting. I'll make this one a thank you card. Just put it right up here. And your card's complete. I hope you enjoy this project. I hope it gives you lots of ideas for how you could use this frame and that you could imagine this layout turned portrait or landscape style. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head,